What do you think? This week, administration told us that we had to inform students about the new ALBI counseling functions. Immediately, there was pushback from the teaching staff, even the ones who were most gung-ho about ALBI. It's as if they instinctively knew that some lines weren't meant to be crossed. Administration emphasized the importance of students' mental and emotional well-being, and that any other attempts at teaching would be futile without this addressed. They also detailed how many parents either didn't have access to mental health services or outright denied any professional intervention. They assured us that ALBI is able to provide this kind of support while maintaining the utmost privacy. One teacher asked if this program was going to be released to students without obtaining parental consent first, and the entire room erupted in arguments. Personally, I thought this plan was completely insane, considering how poorly we handle matters of mental health. If the collective body of teachers, parents, and counselors could barely come up with consistent support plans for learning and behavioral challenges, what made anybody think that a computer could do it any better? There were some teachers who were dedicated to personally connecting with students, who opened up their offices as safe spaces for kids to bring their problems. Not me, though. I never tried to be the student's friend. I did my best to keep an air of professionalism, or as close as you could get at a room of 20-plus 7-year-olds. My goal was to remain always an authority figure to them, and very clear and consistent in what I expected of them. I think some of them appreciated it, at least the ones with chaotic home lives. I was never anyone's favorite teacher, however. There was also never any room for any doubt about my conduct. Of course, there were accusations, most commonly by parents used to getting their way, but nothing they flung at me ever stuck. That's the benefit of acting with integrity. I probably got this old school mentality from my father. Come to think of it, he was a teacher too. It's not like I particularly aspired to be like him growing up. I guess as I got educated, it made sense to stick with what was familiar to me. I once asked my father why he decided to teach high school. I remember he was silent for a few moments, as if he had never asked that question of himself. When he did speak, it was in a level, meditative tone, with long pauses between each sentence. I figured he was contemplating the answer while he was speaking.
A lot of adults don't know what to do with teenagers. They see this mess of hormones and childishness and chafing at authority, and they try to force them in line. That's not what you do. You just be clear and firm with your words, and make sure they align with your actions. The kids, they act like they don't want authority, but secretly, they do. A lot of grown-ups do too. Not someone standing over them, telling them what to do, but more like a solid rock, a firm foundation they can leap off of. They'll figure out the rest, but when there's trouble, they want to have a solid refuge of consistency they can always return to.
That's a good word to describe my dad. Solid. He didn't explicitly answer my question. He was too humble to speak directly about himself, but when he spoke, his years of experience came through. Looking back at that conversation now, with my own perspective as a teacher, it's clear to me that he taught high school because he was the kind of person who could do it well. Simple as that.
ALBI, Your Classroom Companion, is a fictional podcast series by Nada K. Any resemblance to real people or events are coincidental. Voices for this episode are Molly Kundle as the narrator, Jay Blue as Kensington Sr. To support this production and others, visit patreon.com/NATAK.